What's up, everybody? I'm with the amazing Peter Davison. What's up, Peter?
Your camera that you're holding in your own hand is up in the air. That is so boss.
Yep. It's a little one, but it's got a big impact.
It's got a big personality.
Yeah. So, let's get right to it.
Yeah.
How did you start performing?
Let's see how far to go back, because where does that even start?
Did it start when you were young and you started doing dancing, or did you just get into juggling at a young age?
Yeah. No, it started with visual art.
Cool.
There's an American artist, a famous American artist, Alexander Calder, who invented the mobile.
Wow.
So he's a 20th century artist. And so he'd do like these he did wire sculptures, like these really, like they would look like drawings, like with a pencil, but they were made out of wire, so they're actually sculptures. And of circus figures doing acro and different circus stuff. And he actually made a whole circus that he operated himself, like all these little figures out of wire and corks and little bits of fabric that actually like do the stuff, like trapeze artists that fly like a miniature circus, and he'd travel around Paris, like to people's living rooms, and put on these little salon shows with his miniature circus.
Wow.
And all the characters actually like sword swallower. He'd like pull strings and the little characters do stuff. If you go to YouTube, for example, now it's on YouTube, this film of him doing his circus. When he's older, when he was doing it, like originally he was younger, but his circus is now at the Whitney Museum in New York.
Wow.
That's like its home now. He donated it to that. So my family were more visual artists. Like my mom was really a visual artist and stuff, and so it started with that, with the exposure to Calder's circus.
Why did Calder's circus really motivate you to start getting into the performing world?
Yeah, it just sort of inspired me about like the idea of circus, and then I'd like go to the library and find books, I think originally on like sideshow and like mud shows, like that kind of
mud
circus.
Shows, what's that?
That's like a tent show, a circus, like a small circus that travels around. I think they call it a mud show because they're always setting up like in some like muddy field somewhere.
Okay, cool.
You know, and when you're like walking from the trailer to the big top to do your act, you've got to have like galoshes on because you're walking through the mud.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's like a rough like circus life, not like, you know, Cirque du Soleil or something where like everything's or performing in a theater. You're like out in the fields and stuff, and it's just rained, and so it's muddy.
That's hardcore.
But that's what a mud show is like a smaller circus.
Wow.
And I just got into it, like sideshow stuff, and then that just led to getting a book on juggling, like Juggling Made Easy. From the library, and that's how I learned to juggle 3 balls. And
really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it really started with that visual art thing, and then turned into like actually performing like that with those illustrations and sculpture work.
Wow.
And then after that, it was just meeting people who could show me the next step.
Okay, so how'd that go?
Good. So I learned to juggle 3 balls from this book, Juggling Made Easy. And after a little bit, like there was this girl at my school who was a little bit older than me who could juggle a little bit better and who showed me some stuff. But after I've been juggling for about a year, there were these sort of like end of the vaudeville era performers, Foy and Fay, this guy, Boy Foy.
Boy Foy.
Have you heard of him?
No.
So he was in like the Francis Brun sort of
that sounds familiar. Did he do his style in a way? I think I might have seen this guy. He did a lot of balancing.
Yeah, his whole act was on unicycle though, Boy Foy.
Right.
Only on the unicycle, small unicycle and then tall unicycle.
But did he have many mouthpieces and like headpieces?
Mouthpieces
I
and
remember
pedestals
that.
of that style, balls on pedestals, ring spinning.
Okay.
Mouse stick with a ball on it.
Yep, I remember that.
3 hats, 3 top hats, 3 big Harry Lind clubs.
Wow.
But all on a unicycle. He did that act also in like a roller skating show, and then he did unicycle and ice show. He had like a unicycle that with like studs in the tire that could go on ice.
Nice. Was it a tall unicycle or small unicycle?
Small unicycle.
Okay.
That I know of. I don't know about the tall, but yeah, the only TV thing that he was on. I mean, he was retired, like and sort of elderly when I trained with him.
Oh wow.
When I was a teenager. But he was on the Mickey Mouse Club, like the original Annette Funicello, like black and white TV.
No way.
Mickey Mouse Club. They had a circus day, like every week it was like circus day, and they'd have a different circus act. So they had like from that era.
Okay.
So that would have been, I guess, the '60s when they taped that. So he was on there.
Okay.
But I can't even find it. I'm talking, to like David Kane and like, Paul Bachman before he passed away. I was like, like they've all heard of him and they know, and they've got some photos, but this Mickey Mouse Club like video, it's somewhere in an archive.
Yeah.
It's great. But so he was like a professional, retired guy, and then his partner Faye, they did a two-person act. She was on a walking globe, and he was on a unicycle, and they passed clubs.
Oh, cool.
So he taught me for a couple of years.
That's awesome.
That's what got me kind of serious.
What was his teachings like?
It was just sort of like a workshop, and he taught at a community college where I grew up in Southern California, and he just brought a lot of props, and then all of his like glossy black and white photos of all of his contemporaries, like Francis and different people.
So cool.
So he kind of spread out like his memorabilia, and then and he had like rings and clubs and balls and the walking globe and unicycles, and so then we just kind of train on all that stuff, and he just kind of go around.
So you learned most of your variety of juggling from him when you were young,
basic juggling and how to unicycle and walk on the globe from him.
Okay. So then how'd you get into the dance?
That didn't happen really until I moved to, I kind of started, I was always a visual rather than a verbal. I didn't really want to combine my juggling with comedy.
Right.
So I was more visually oriented. So I was already kind of like more movement oriented that way naturally. But when I moved to Boulder in 1980, so I was probably, turned 19 like right then. That's really when I started training in dance. So,
cool.
Late for a dancer, but not late for a juggler.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we can go for a while.
So, and I got pretty fanatic about dancing. At a certain point, I was like more into dancing than juggling.
Why?
I made a living juggling, but everywhere I went, like on tour with Air Jazz and stuff,
right.
I'd always find the dance class and go there.
With Air Jazz, you guys were absolutely amazing. The combos you had with dance and the ideas you guys came up with. What was like kind of these crazy processes that where you're just like, okay, we're going to do this kind of act or do this act? There's got to be some times where you just do brainstorming and throw a bunch of props on the ground and just go at it?
Not so much. I think the way we did it, because of 3 people, so it's a collaborative process. It's occasionally like one of us would insist on like, I want to do my piece for the group, and I'm in charge.
Oh, wow.
But most of the time, 90% of the time it was collaborative.
Okay.
So, and there's 3 different personalities. So there's like John Held was sort of the brilliant one who would like come up with really cool like images and actual specific material, like a move, or an idea, like a visual idea. And then Keziah was really kind of like the supporter of the whole group, like the nurturer of the whole group, and sort of like didn't do as much of that, like here's my idea for material, but like I'm like totally supporting.
Right, just went with it.
And like,
cool.
Like here's like food for everybody, and
it's awesome.
Like literally like nurturing the whole thing. And then I was sort of like the organizer. So I was like, so John was kind of like the brilliant genius, but like not structured. Like it just sort of like went out like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And then I would kind of like go like, okay, but now we need to narrow it down, like do these repetitions, and then like, only do it that many times, and then here's like a transition between your brilliant ideas, and so then I'd like structure it. Keziah would like nurture the whole thing.
What do you think is the best though? Do you think it's better to just go at it, everyone just put in their creative ideas, or say, hey, we should be more organized during rehearsals or practices? What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to be a performer into that?
That's a good question. I think thinking about the process would be really important.
Okay.
We never really thought about it. Like we did everything organically and intuitively. But I think more and more as I get older, it's like I think if you plan like the structure of how you're going to create something,
right,
then makes everything better. And it starts with like, I want to work on an act or something. I want to work on something, and the first step is just like I need to schedule time in a space where I can work on it.
Right.
Not just think about like whenever I have a moment, I'll work on it. Like that moment will never come. So you have to be like, here's a studio, or I've got a gym to work in, or my bedroom, or whatever it is. Like it's on the calendar, like on these days of the week and for these hours, like a job.
That's a great start.
I'm gonna make myself do it hours like a job, and
hold yourself responsible.
And that's what I do in that time. I
Absolutely.
Like turn off the phone. I don't like also do laundry at the same time. Like you need to like schedule that environment to be creative in. And so the scheduling is first. It's like I got to schedule an environment that I can then create in, and then you kind of like try to structure each step that way.
So let's go on for the creative process. When someone creates an act, do you feel like it's best to start with the storyline? I mean, you have so many different ideas. When I saw you perform, first off, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Each different bit had awesome ideas. You know, one idea that you do well was with sound. You use sound and do the music for the pocket and open the pocket, and there's some more sound. So it creates more of an emotion. It's like I felt like I was actually experiencing, if it was a war or some kind of idea, it was there with you. When you throw the hats and you have a character, you feel like, okay, well, let's just change characters through the hats. Or let's do the trash bag. Let's start with the trash can. Okay, why is he bringing it on? Okay, wow, he does this whole orchestral movement with all these bags, puts it back in the trash can, leaves. Has a good start, has a good finish. You crafted these things from, it looks like, from every point of angle, even with the table and the ball, and I can see that it all has been mastermind. Would it be bestly focusing on the storyline and say, okay, here's the story, and now let's focus on what certain tricks give the best emotion to the audience? Or do you say, for everything you do, say, why am I doing this? Why am I on stage? Okay, now what's the purpose? What do I do next to get to the next spot?
I think that your last point maybe is really valuable, the why.
Okay.
Just the word why.
So you first work on something, you say, why? Why am I even on stage? Why do I have this table?
Yeah,
why do I have this trash can?
Yeah, and as you're working on things, just to keep going, like, why am I doing this, you know? Because I think as jugglers, like, a lot of it is just intuitive. And
we get lost in the tricks, man. We're just like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah, we get lost in the tricks.
Right.
And it's a lot of it's sort of like how it feels based, or like that looks neat, you know, that looks cool based.
Maybe I look at it as we go down two different paths. Right, we go down the path of, well, we stick to a rule, we have a story, we have a table, we have a newspaper, we have a ball, and we have a bottle, and we have rules. These have to use this certain thing, right? Like tonight, we saw a great show that was put together, and there was the French guys, right, Diablo, and they had a character, and they stick to a rule, which was what? Move their arms when they move, right? So what do? They create a connection and told the audience, hey, you're going to learn something about us. My character has this thing. We move like this, and throughout you'll notice. And everyone started enjoying that. Why? Because it's fun, and maybe it was funny for them, and they enjoy it because that's who their character is. You have the same attributes towards what you do. So do you feel like it's best to put rules? I mean, of course.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Right?
Rules, and then I might word it also as limitations. Mm-hmm. As much as it's like I could do all these things, like a work of art or a work of juggling, it's also about like what I'm not doing.
That's so hard when I want to do all these tricks. I want to do this. I want to do that. No, I want this to be the best act with the 5 club back crosses and this and that.
For me, speaking of that, 5 clubs, 3 clubs, Albert throws. I mean, I had these
that's what I've been doing,
old school juggling routines. And at a certain point, I said, like, I'm not going to do those anymore. Instead, I'm going to juggle like a stick and a ball and a
hoop. And you made a whole different
routine. And like the stick, okay, like it's good that I juggled clubs because now the stick is easy, you know, because I can flip the stick. But it was hard to let go of that. Like, fuck, I spent like 2 years working on Albert throws to master them and performed them a bunch. And now I'm not going to do that anymore.
But you could do the stick Albert throw trick, or the movement.
Knob, so no. You need the knob. The stick has no knob. You do an Albert throw, it goes over there.
Okay, then that's a whole different act. That's a whole different act.
You need like a whole bucket of sticks. You just keep grabbing them. That piece went back to Alexander Calder then. It's like, I'm going to not do the circus clubs, you know, the vaudeville juggling clubs anymore, and I'm going to do basic shapes, like a white stick and a red ball and a white circle. So it's not even a stick, it's like a white line, a red circle, and then like a big white circle with a hole in the middle.
You changed from tricks to shapes now.
Right, to design. You know, and some of them are moving. So it's more like, you know, that's what it is. It's not like, I worked my ass off to learn this cool trick, doesn't it look neat? To like, here's the design. Like, it's not about whether this is hard or not. Yeah.
If you did working your ass off for doing the Alberts, and you got an applause, and you got maybe a stand ovation or something, do you feel that, okay, the next part you work your ass off on a ball and a hoop and a stick, and you go, okay, out of those two, which one got the most emotional response and connection to the audience? The tricks Albert throws, going crazy with the clubs, or do you feel like it would be better with the stick ball?
Far and away the stick ball. It's the only, of those two things, that's the only thing where people come up and go like, that was beautiful. Like, nobody comes up to me and says, you know, the Albert throw with 3 clubs.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You know what I mean? It's crazy to say, but it's hard to actually accept sometimes. It's hard to accept that. Especially for me, when I'm doing 5 clubs and all these things.
You worked on really hard.
Yeah, and then you realize, well, why were we taught wrong? No, you must learn the skill. You must master the skill to know if you have a creative idea and you want to say, oh, I want to do this, you can do it without wasting time. That's what I feel now.
Well, you got to go through it. It's like, you know, Henri Matisse, the painter.
Yeah.
I mean, he could paint, like, you know, portraits and stuff, like when he was younger. Like, he had the skill, like he trained to draw.
Okay.
And then later in his career, he's just like cutting out like basic shapes out of colored paper.
Right.
Like he distilled it down to something that like a kid could do, but he did it, you know, he had to go through like the technique.
Isn't that weird?
To do
Isn't that weird?
But a kid wouldn't do that. But a kid like could do that. Like you look at it and go like, I could cut out a piece of paper, but like you wouldn't. But you would. Who did? You didn't do it. He did it.
Isn't that weird that you start out feeling as a young kid would want to say, I want to do everything, and then when you get older, you feel like it's best to do almost it's best to do almost nothing. To be. I mean, not nothing.
Get is like that's the goal. Being actually nothing. Like.
Oh gosh. Okay.
One.
I mean, you should nothing plus one. I mean, you should be close to refining it to just what needs to be, and that's hard.
But that's theater.
Did you go to Renegade?
I've been
last night.
In and out.
Did you see my act last night? What I did for fun?
Yeah.
I was Pac-Man.
Reminded me of.
I was Pac-Man. Did you see that?
With the suitcase. I was going to mention Avner because you had mentioned something about like his workshop.
Yeah, I learned that from when I was there.
And there were some that looked like something that you would have put together at the barn.
Yep. Thank you.
That's got like these different that only looks like the barn.
Oh, you'd be so proud. You know, that came from like a 3 a.m. just creative process in the attic, and I was just thinking, and I said, hey guys, like all the when the students afterwards they take class, we can stay up all night, we can work on stuff. I said, hey guys, quit coming down, I have an idea. And then they all sat down because the stage is there, and I was like, guys, check this out. I put the balls down, and I went, da, da, da. Everyone just busted up laughing. Everyone's going like, oh my gosh. I was like, you should put that next day. And I did it next day, and I was like, oh, that was great, Lucian, but I don't know if it works in the rest of the act that you're doing. Maybe you should just keep the Pac-Man by himself. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll save him. But I was thinking, man, I've always wanted to do that Pac-Man again. I think, I'll do it here at Renegade. I go and perform. I got my suitcase. And then I go through a couple bits with the suitcase, kind of maybe just, showing my character, having fun. Drop the suitcase, and then boom, the balls fall out. Interesting. I got an idea. Pick up all the balls. Oh, he's going to juggle. He's going to probably do all 7. There's 7 balls. He's picking them up. Wait a minute. 1, 2 in a line, 3 in a line, 4 in a line. Ooh, what's this red one? Last one. Wait a minute. What is he doing? What is he going to one knee? Oh, open up the suitcase. Looks at it. Music. Like, everybody what the heck is going on? Laughing right now. Yum, 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 yum. Pac-Man eats a ball, eats a ball, eats a ball, eats a ball. Last one through the red. Caught it. Eat the ball. Right? It's just an idea that I was having, right? Me and Gabriel from Kiros, Cirque du Soleil juggler, we were back here like before, just 5 minutes before that. Hey man, let's go do this. Okay, I need a white ghost thing. Okay, run over there and get the ghost thing. Okay, we're excited. You be the ghost. We need some fruit and bananas. No, forget the fruit and bananas. Let's just be the ghost and let's run over there. So we're excited. This is way people put acts together. That's what it should be, and they're creative. And they're saying, okay, let's go get the suitcase. We get there, pretty much like 10 minutes for the show. We're laughing like crazy, hysterically. Oh my God, I can't believe we're gonna do this. Let's just do it. We're trying to figure out, okay, when you go through the audience, go this way, go that way, and go this way. But make sure when you turn 90 degrees, because that's what the Pac-Man does, I catch the last ball in the pretty much in the suitcase, which you saw. Boom. Ghost comes out. Gabriel. Gabriel's in the ghost. Chases me. Everyone's cracking up. I get out, go left, go right, scream because I'm yelling, because I'm Pac-Man. He's yelling at me. Go out stage. Blackout. That was it. And you know what? I didn't come back for the rest of the show. But that's what it's about. Now, after doing that, I'm thinking, oh man, I should have 2. This is what happens when you create acts. You're going to create an act, you're going to perform it, and then you're going to think of more ideas. So try starting something, right? When you create an act. That's how you create your things, right? So then I was thinking, things evolve. This is how you do it. But that's what we're trying to say. Start simple. Put down the 5 clubs from time to time. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. This is what I've learned. I came through a breakthrough from Avner. To go to Avner was amazing. I didn't want to be there. And then eventually the next day I was like, okay, I'll try these exercises. And after a while I was like, oh my gosh. Now I'm realizing, be the performer first, not the juggler. And I felt like my clubs I can't do the 5 clubs. I can't do anything anymore. After that, a couple of days later, I realized I did my suitcase bit with my ball, that I have a new act. I did that. I literally cried, to be honest. I didn't cry because the audience was there. I cried because I worked so hard, did the attic till 4 in the morning, creating this ball and suitcase, because I went through all this craziness of the process of understanding performing. And then I walked off stage, finished the act, got a great applause, and just cried right there due to the fact of I was teary-eyed. And I cried. I mean, come on. I didn't cry. I just feel like teary-eyed, you all right?
You watered up a little bit.
And I came out stage, and he was like, how does it feel? You're one of us now. I was just like, it feels amazing. I was so happy just for myself that I cried because I finally accomplished something. And that's what, as performers, these are the times we're happy about being performers.
Ow.
As artists. So he was like, welcome, you're one of us. And they said, okay, now it looks like you have an idea, so now you have to work on this. And that's what I've been doing. So you've been very helpful with that after seeing your act. And I just wanted to tell you that you inspired me, and to kind of,
You're into
and
the
Gabriel was the
process.
same way. Gabriel was the same way. After we saw, I mean, you met Gabriel, right? He's a tall guy. He's French.
Yeah.
And he works for Du Soleil for the new Curious show. He's a juggler on that. And he's like, he was, oh my God, you see the Peter Davison show? I was like, yes, Peter Davison. Wow, the emotional connection, this and that. And we're like, yes. You know what I mean? So doing the Pac-Man, we both thought kind of inspired because we saw you. I think it was the day you performed at 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right,
So you
that
performed.
night.
Here we
Yeah.
go. He performed at 5.
Later that night.
we
We
go through
came
this
back.
craziest process
A
of
whole different show.
Yeah, doing Pac-Man, and then boom. So you helped inspire us to create a cool bit,
Oh, sweet.
and that's how that works because what you're doing on stage really speaks. And the whole thing we were saying was like, no, let's create a story. Let's don't try to show tricks. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't want to show tricks. And when I was at Celebration Barn, people were helping me. My buddy Bill Berry, he was helping me with the Pac-Man stuff too and ideas. And it's just like everybody, if you have an idea and you're passionate about it, people around you will help you. So don't think that you're lost. Don't think, oh, I have to wait for the idea. Like with Avner, I felt like, oh, he's the master. He has 3 years of, on Broadway and 40 years of experience. I said, and I was eventually later on, after almost 2 weeks of going through this crazy whirlwind and breakthrough with my life, I found, hey, I'm sorry and thank you at the same time. He's like, what do you mean? Well, I'm sorry sometimes I didn't always listen and I would, give me notes and I would talk, defend myself and I should just listen, went back to the drawing board and came back. But I want to say thank you. Now I know you never had the answer. I thought I was coming to you for the answer, but really you made me find the answer for myself. And I want to say thank you for that because now I've learned to just create the ideas and go to the drawing board and do the process, giving you critique, and then from there you go back to the drawing board, and then we say, okay, we did this worked, this did not work, but this worked, we can try this, now I can give you a critique. You have to see it a couple times to actually understand it. Seeing your show was a very much to me like when I saw Avner perform a lot, and the connection with the audience. I mean, you had them, man. They just, from you doing, I asked people, hey, how'd you like the show? And they're like, oh, I liked it. And I said, why? Oh, I loved how he did the 3 balls. He moved a lot. He didn't just stand there. He did it in silence. Did you know that? He did it in silence. Silence is big. Now I had to think, okay, it makes sense. Emotion. Of course, in Pac-Man, I did silence in the beginning. You notice that?
Yeah. Silence is good.
Yeah.
Makes everybody perk
Let's
up.
talk about silence.
Okay. All right, that was good.
That was really good. So good. Okay, no, seriously, let's talk about silence though. Like,
Okay.
why silence is important when you're on stage. I'm serious. It gives a big impact, right?
The first time I did it silent it was always in the middle of a show, kind of like this show.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like acoustically it's nice because just to have like a break.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens, I think, is the audience gets used to, oh, there's always musical accompaniment to things. So the show is set up that way, like we've always had music with stuff that's part of it. And so then when you take that part out, it's like there's a big space.
Yeah.
And the audience fills that like by getting really alert.
Yep.
It's like something's missing. And then it also draws them out more, so then they want to fill that space. They're like, oh, so now we're the music, like by going, ha, or like now we can make noise and like that's heard.
Yeah.
It gives them permission to do the soundtrack with response.
Yeah.
And then it gives a performer, like, because I used to do the ball routine really tightly choreographed to
so
music.
much sense.
And so if
I love it.
if you mess up something, like you just have to skip that part and move on if you're performing to music, recorded music. So it's really free. So if I mess this up, I can just turn it into a different routine, like that involves like a ball on the floor. I don't have to like pick it up and try to pick up the music again.
Right.
Rush on and skip a whole section. Everything is playing.
So
if
good.
I want to like hold like one,
So good.
repeat
Yes.
something longer because the audience didn't get it yet, or they already got it, I can go shorter. I can go like twice as long as sometimes because then they'll get it like twice,
I felt that when I was in the audience. I really felt like, okay, cool, I can just clap if I want to clap.
So it's just a lot more interactive because when you have music, choreographed to music, then it's like, I got to do my thing regardless of where you're at.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to do the thing I rehearse and you watch. It's not just like you watch anymore. It's like we're doing it. Now we go off
Do it
each
together.
other.
Okay, that reminds me. Remember when I came on stage?
Yeah.
Dude, I did not plan that. No, I'm serious.
With the peeking behind the curtain and stuff?
I planned that for the third time. For the
That's cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool too. And someone said Lucian Fuller, and there was a guy in the back. You didn't see it, but where there's like the walkway because it's a banquet area.
Yeah.
It's right at the hall.
Yeah.
You know how they have that. He was back there, so you couldn't see it because it's backstage. There's a guy like, hey, Lucian, you're on. I'm like, what? So I literally I walked out, and I'm like, what? He's saying something? So I literally walked backstage again. Like, hey, what's up? But literally to the audience, it looks like, hey, he's walking out. And then he's walking back out, like he's trying to play with us, you know?
Yeah,
oh, he
that's
just
what it
left.
looked like,
But
yeah.
I literally didn't mean to do that. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, I just did something cool.
I just did a bit.
So let me just, exactly. I think about that all the time down here. I'm like, I just did a bit, you know? So like, let's play with this. And then I walk back out again. Oh, I guess they're not applauding yet. Because Abner would do a lot of crazy hypnotizing stuff with the audience. I mean, I feel like he hypnotizes the audience to give him a standing ovation every time because it's amazing what he does, you know? I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel like I was hypnotized for sure. So then I went back to stage one more time, and I said, okay, let's do the whole like curtain peek out one more time. But then that's when someone started clapping, clap, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Silence could be the best thing for any intros because you never know, and you can go off of it. And at the same time, they started clapping. Guess what happened, right? It got faster and faster and faster, and da-da-da-da, and then I was able to, okay, let's just stop them. Now I stopped. Now let's do the act. And I thought before I was just going to walk on stage. But when that happened, it made it 10 times better. You doing the balls, I think it should always be in silence because now, one, you're so good at improvising with those balls. And who knows, it could build to clapping, can build to other things. And if you put that music, like Abner says, for me, he told me, I asked him, hey, well, one time I did with jazz, with the suitcase. If I put jazz music, at least I can improvise more and just jazz, you know? And I put it on, it was okay. He said, okay, that's good. But I still felt like I was kind of hindered. But when you take it off, now I'm more free to imagine what I want to imagine. How do you feel about that? With music?
I think that's it. Music is a limitation like we were talking about. It's a rule. You can look at it as a limitation or you could look at it as an inspiration.
Right.
So you can be like, my piece is about this music now, and then you're like locked into that, so it helps you in that way. Or it could also be like confinement. So you can also take it away. So you just have to decide, you know, which you want to be. Free to be in the moment with the audience, then no music is better, you know. Or some kind of music that's more minimal, you know, that you don't have to stay with it.
That makes perfect sense. Because right now I'm thinking, is that what you did when you did the letter? Like, it's very important for you to pick the right music. And for you, it's like, okay, I'm going to need to pick this music to get this emotional response. It was a total big change from when you did the first one. I think you did the hats, right? Yes, because it's another hat. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you did the hats, and then you like had a wholly different like vibe of fun and interesting and cool, and audience is like, okay, I get it. I like this. Ooh, this is great. The cowboy and everything. And then it becomes to more like ballad, deep. You know, like, okay, whoa, this is hitting me. Maybe I have a cousin who's in the war or something like that. So whoa, to get a letter, and now it's getting a little emotional. Okay, I don't know. All right, Peter, come on, you gotta stop. Like, it's a little too much, you know. But you know what I mean? You're like, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna put the paper on myself and mess around with the paper, which is great ideas, you know, to move with the paper. And then you kind of end it with putting the hat back. Did you do that on purpose though? You put the last military hat back with the sound ending at the end.
Yeah. That's
perfect, man. I got that. Man, that's so good. I'm looking at X now. Like I can tell, like he planned that because the music ended and the hat disappeared at the same time. You're so good.
The music is the structure
so cool.
of it. It's, you know, the music is what it's about.
Awesome.
So then, you know, because that's not a silent, so that's recorded music.
Wow.
So then you got to do it to the music. So then that's a different type of thing where the audience is watching.
Do you want to talk more about physical movement and all that stuff that you did in your workshop?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another like tool in the toolbox. Like you don't have to always move.
Right.
You know, like dance.
You said that. You said, oh, if you stay stationary, you can do that, throw 5 balls for a long time, and that's a whole different effect, right?
Yeah, that's a different, like minimalism is fine too. It's just like, you want to be able to choose, I think. I think people that are sort of locked into like, well, I can only perform standing this way, and I don't really like to move very much. I just think like artists in general, like it's just good to be well-rounded and to be able to do more even than you do on stage. My partner I would teach with at Celebration Barn, Michael Menez, the juggler.
Yeah, I saw his picture there.
Yeah.
It's in the prop room.
Right. So in the history room.
Is your picture there? I didn't see it up there. I saw Fred Garble.
I don't know. I
didn't see you.
I didn't look through the picture.
I think maybe I did saw Air
maybe
Jazz.
With Air Jazz.
Maybe Air Jazz I saw
picture
you.
of the three of us.
Yeah,
maybe.
you're holding beach ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beach
I think
balls.
yeah.
Like he would call it the matrix, this idea where you know, if you perform this much stuff, you've actually learned this much stuff.
Right.
You know, like maybe like as a juggler, you've learned to do a little Diablo and some devil stick or whatever, but you only perform with clubs, but you don't only work on like exactly what you perform. You also, you know, so then it's good to like learn to move different ways. You want to like strength-wise, like strengthen different muscles than just the exact ones that you use in your show, you know, so that you have this matrix that like supports what you actually perform.
Wow.
It's also like an acting thing. Like Laurence Olivier,
That's what I was just gonna say.
great actor, was like, when you're acting, you don't like just like go blah, like release all of your emotions to the audience, because then when they see that you've given them everything you've got, then they're bored.
Right.
When they feel like there's a mystery and like you actually could do more, and you're just showing them these little bits that you can do, but you've actually got this big matrix around it, like they sense that, then like they're drawn in. You just like reveal everything that you can like barely accomplish, then it's like, oh, that's all I can, like, I can see that's all I can do. Like, I've seen it, I'm bored now.
I gotta say, when you did the workshop, you explained it's best to do your whole act, if you can choreograph, without props.
Yeah.
Because the audience, they're not looking at your juggling tricks all the time. They're looking at your body, your face, your smile, your shoes, the way you move. So if your body's moving in a certain way, they're gonna follow you
like who you
easier.
are. Dancers say, which is the body doesn't lie. So like if you're speaking, like you can lie. Like you can do like make fake expressions. You know, if you're trying to impress somebody, like you can say things to impress somebody that are fake, or kind of like put on a smile, even if you're sort of like, I hate you. You know, like you can lie sort of like with your voice or different things, but as far as movement, like that's when you really see like who somebody is.
Right.
So then if you can like use that as part of your expression and not be like locked into like stiff patterns.
Do you meticulously look at every move and make sure that you are clear and precise on everything you do on stage? And is that important?
Yeah. I think so I came from like the juggling and then the dance world, and both of those worlds are sort of not really into that sort of clarity thing.
Okay.
And it's a generalization, like there are exceptions from that.
Right.
But I think they're both just very sort of like intuitive, like what I feel like doing is okay.
Right.
And I intellectualize why it's okay. Like in contemporary dance, it's like, well, my piece is, I think it's about this. I think it's about like my brother died 3 years ago and I can't move on and I'm stuck. So I'm making a dance about that. And then, but the audience doesn't see that at all.
Right.
Like they don't get it because it's not clear.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Sometimes that's not actually what happened to me. That's like an example of what could be. My brother is still alive. I'm just like,
you're so good at acting.
I'd be like a different person.
You literally caught me there.
Okay.
Because you were looking at me.
He's
like,
still alive, my brother.
I'm so happy that
was like that could be
I'm so happy your brother's
content.
alive. I'm so happy he's alive.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, keep going. No, wait.
But just imagine, like somebody makes a dance,
I did imagine.
You know.
I felt it.
I've seen actually jugglers do juggling pieces about similar content.
Yeah.
But the audience doesn't get it. But it does provide sometimes some fuel to like create rules and narrow down exactly what the movement is. And so then the audience does, so they won't see that what the choreographer or dancer thinks it's about, but they will see something that maybe they can relate to. Okay. So some people in the audience will like get something out of it.
You move on stage, I get so excited, I kind of get nervous, and then eventually I lose like my way of movement, and I move too fast because I'm nervous. How do you slow down?
You just have to practice that because...
so breathing and all that stuff works?
Yeah, breathing helps, and just intentionally slowing down and rehearsing like that, as if like, you know, I got to rehearse like slowing down, because when I get in front of people, right? Because the body will just keep repeating the same patterns because of that muscle memory. Especially if when you do a show, that's what your body remembers more than a rehearsal, because there's just so much focus, like when there's an audience. Yes. So like as soon as you perform something, like that's what's burned into your muscles.
Are you telling me if I get nervous and I'd send it, which I always kind of do, I mean, there's an old saying, if you're not nervous, you're dead, right? So you are getting a little nervous. Unless you're confident. Is good. If you, I mean, of course, if you got 3,000 shows in, you know, and you're obviously solid. You know, I do these things at Universal Studios Florida, right? We have 6 shows a day, and I've done almost 2 years now, so it's over like at least 3,000 shows in 9 minutes. I'm used to it. I get 5 minutes call, let's go. But when I went to Advert, man, I was freaking out, and I was doing something new out of my element, trying these different exercises. I was terrified to go on stage. And I was telling them, like, this is crazy. And everyone else was like, yeah, I'm crazy. But, because it's new. So a lot of the new things you're working on are new. So slow down, right? And then go into saying, hey, let's take a breath before we get on the stage. Let's take a breath when we're on stage. Let the audience breathe, like you're saying. Yeah. And at the same time, make sure that you really be aware that, okay, I am nervous, which means I am going to be anxious, which means I am going to move fast. And if you're moving too fast, the audience blinks and they're going to miss everything. But what I'm trying to say is, If I keep doing that on stage and I'm nervous and I get moved fast, are you telling me I'm going to remember more of me moving fast, which is going to be a bad habit, than me moving, oh, I wasn't moving fast in rehearsal? That's what you're saying. You're saying remembering, memory comes most from what you're on stage. So that means you better do it even slower on stage so it helps you remember the right way next time. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think like what you do on stage sticks with you a little bit more just because there's more focus, because the audience, there's more adrenaline, like there's just more energy behind it. So then that gets impressed more than just doing a rehearsal. So then I just think it's really important to train in the rehearsal, like to take into account, like, you know, so you have to be like, you know, I really need to slow down, and so you have to train yourself to do that. Like you can't just think like, when I do that next show, I'm gonna slow down in that next show. When you get out there, like the pattern of the previous show is gonna come out, and you got to really fight that a little bit more.
Wait, though, there's a problem.
Yeah.
When I go on show, I want to do everything, almost all the tricks I want to do. So you're trying to tell me that most great acts do less tricks and focus more on the emotional connection with the audience, and slowing down is better?
No, I mean there are a lot of. So let's look at.
Let's do it.
Well, let's look at Paul Ponce. There are a couple places, like you will notice that even he, the super high energy, fast spins juggler. I mean, super high energy. Like, there's nobody with more energy, I don't think that I've ever seen.
Well, I gave him a hug after backstage. I literally was soaked from all his sweat that he had on the suit.
Yeah.
But he's so passionate, man. That's why I love the way he, performs.
But he had a little couple quiet places. He was like, finishes, he's kind of like standing there like what, and then like his little daughter walks out, and the music turns into like some really slow like flamenco guitar. Like he also used that pacing. So and then it's a huge contrast.
I get it now. So there's a time and a place for some energy, and then you can be a little bit laid back and some energy. So it's okay. But still,
the movement workshop.
He's still doing the breathing. He's letting the audience breathe by those sections. So it makes sense.
You let the audience breathe, they'll recover. Because if he was
now I get it. Breathe, recover.
That tempo.
So I can go fast. I can do clubs fast.
His show is 20 minutes long. So if he did 20 minutes of...
His show was 20 minutes long?
Yeah.
On stage?
Yeah.
With his kids?
Tonight was 20 minutes, including the kids.
Wow. I wonder if he take a break and the kids go and he comes back to his hats.
Yeah, and the audience needs a break too. It's not just for the performer. It's like the audience needs to like chill out and go like, what did I just
Great point there.
What did I just see?
Great point.
It's got to soak in. And
I love that. That was a great point.
So that's what's slowing. It's not that like going slow.
Right here, that's fine.
It's not that. It's not that.
Is this the pilot? This must be the pilot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're turning around. I'm sorry about your food.
Okay, so let's go. What were we talking about?
Enjoying your pretzels.
Oh, the pretzels, man.
Right.
I remember, like, they always make me thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
We're talking about that it's not just that slower is better.
Right.
It's this part of the toolbox.
Okay.
It needs to be with some not slow things. We want to get the audience going like, oh, I'm used to that, and then like change it.
I like that.
Keep people stimulated.
Get me going. And so he did that. He did that right. I mean, you guys are pros. And so that's something that a lot of people miss, though. They feel like they have to go 110%, or they feel because of the nerves, they wanted a slow act, but it made them go 110%. It changed everything.
You have to not feel like, I really want the audience to like me, so I'm going to do more. That's when it crashes. You have to be like, I'm here like to host the audience. I think Avner
said that a lot to myself in the past.
I'm here to relax the audience.
Absolutely. He's so chilled.
I'm not here to like go out and get people to like me.
We're young.
Well,
I mean, I felt like that when I was young.
Juggling is
right?
like,
I want you guys to like me.
I'm going to go over here in private, learn these really hard tricks, and then after I've learned them, that's when I'm vulnerable, is when I'm away from the audience, and then after I learn it and I'm all perfect, then I'll go out and show it to people, and they'll all go like, oh, he's so cool. Then they'll like me,
Wait. Do you think they're gonna think that?
That's like a juggler. That's what I thought when I was learning to juggle when I was a kid. I was like, I just want
doesn't always work that way.
I want people to admire me. Oh crap, I dropped. Okay, but besides that, I want to go practice in a safe space. Like grown-up jugglers lose that, fortunately, but
Well, we're talking about performing, and you're absolutely right. The connection with the audience, letting them breathe, being more relaxed. Trying to be calm and chilled helps you and helps the audience.
Those exciting moments, those Paul Ponce moments where it's just like, what the hell? I can't believe it's still going and it's so fast. Like, that's also like, wait, he's still going around. There's like the hats are about to crash. No, he hasn't dropped them. He
Yeah.
hasn't caught that hat.
You know, he told me after when I went backstage to talk to him, I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, Lucian, I was like, hey, man, so you got around? You got to the audience? He's like, yeah, I know. I tried to get through the audience, but there was just so small of an aisle, which means it could have been more than another 10 minutes because it was like, I was going to go through the audience and then come back through the audience, but I couldn't get through this guy, and I was trying to say, stand up, and no one was standing up. And so I was literally going to go to the other side and come back because normally what I do, but it was too scared. I was like, oh my gosh, he was going to even go more than 20 minutes. I mean, that's amazing.
That would have been,
amazing.
At tech rehearsal, he just walked down the stairs and looked at the seats, and he was like, I don't think this is going to happen. People maybe will turn their knees to the side, maybe they'll stand up, maybe they won't move. I'm not going to be able to get through there.
But you know what's awesome is that he tried. It was great.
He tried.
He did a great job. I liked it. He was like,
He was
playing with people, yeah. And that's the thing. So there's the connection. So we have, it can be done this way or it can be done this way. The most important thing is you allow the audience to breathe. You allow them to have some kind of sense of like comfort with you, right? You do that really well. And before you go on stage, you kind of like, you breathe, you know, and you kind of just say, all right, I'm coming on stage. It's okay. Like you said, I don't need to have them like me. I just need to kind of care about them in a way where, well, I want them to have a good time. Like, we're here to have a good time. But you can't be like, hey, you guys are going to enjoy this trick. You guys are going to like this trick. Oh, by the way, I got this mouse mess. Wait until you see this. Because if you do that, you're like, who are you to tell me what I'm supposed to like? Oh, I don't even like clapping. You know what? My thing is not even clapping. So if I don't clap, I'm not going to do that. I'm not a clapper. So you can't. How dare you say that to me and say I'm going to clap, or how dare you say I'm going to like this? So for instance, you shouldn't be thinking about that, right? I mean, that will help you as a performer to not think about, like you said earlier. You said, "Oh my God, I want them to like me." You shouldn't think about that, right? You should be in the moment. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I just think that that's the wrong motive.
Okay. So what motive do you have when you're on stage?
That just kind of makes you weak. Well, there's several different alternative motives. I think one would even be to say, like, my job here, like, people paid to come and see it. It's not for me, it's for them, first of all. It's not, because they're not here to make me feel good by like clapping and making me feel like they like me.
But it feels good, doesn't it, right? To have a standing ovation at the end of your show?
Yeah,
feels good,
yeah,
right?
it feels good. But that can't be the motive.
That can't be the end result.
Like, the most basic would be, like, my job, since they paid, is to come out here and like organize and like run the room. You know, I'm the leader.
Right.
I'm the leader.
I like that.
It's not. I'm not being led by like begging the audience to like me by doing some hard tricks. It's like I need to do a service for the audience. It's not for me.
Right.
That's what it's about. It's like. And I have a clear job, and they have a clear job, like we all understand. And they expect me to do this job, and so I'm going to do that job. It's not for me.
Right.
I mean, it ends up being for you, like you said. If you get when they clap, like, that feels good.
Yeah.
And that's the energy that the performer and the audience give each other to keep the whole game going.
Okay.
So everybody has their role in the game.
Nice. That's a great way of thinking about it too. It makes it your job. For me, it makes my job more easier for performing. Less stress on me to make sure I have to satisfy them. But a lot of people do that, right? They feel like, oh, I want to make sure I do a great show.
I gotta go faster.
Wait till this audience sees me. They're gonna do a great show.
I gotta tell them. I gotta gesture for them to clap.
How do you feel about that?
For me, I don't like that. I don't like that. Come on, everybody, clap. Or they're like, okay, everybody, like telling them to do that. You know. It's,
well, what if the music
like
is doing that, and then you're like, come on, let's party, guys, let's clap.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if it's like
it should be voluntary, right?
If it's if it's kind of like a let's party, but if it's sort of like, a lot of people go like, come on, like clap, come on, and then I'll do it, you know, type thing. And it's just too manipulative, I think.
Right. I'm with you.
If it's
I'm
like,
totally with you.
Let's clap to the music because it's like a fiesta, like that's kind of okay.
That's different. That's different because now it becomes the atmospheric towards whatever you're doing.
It's not like clap for me and then I'll do the trick.
Right.
It's like clap because it's fun for you to clap, and then we're having a party. Like, that's fun, you know. Okay. That's good for the audience, not the performers.
Absolutely.
And then that makes it okay. But here's the big word, I think, for me lately is relatability.
Relatability.
And so pure juggling is not relatable to the audience.
Okay.
And then a complete absence of any props or skill is relatable.
Perfect.
And so that's why when you slow down and just become a human being, that's the relatable part, and that's why that's valuable. Because when you're just doing one trick after the other, the audience doesn't relate. They're impressed.
Wow.
They go, wow, that dude like spent a lot of time in private like practicing that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more boring than that. That's why, like in the Olympics, like if you watched one of those gymnasts
I couldn't say
in the Olympics,
any better. That was perfect.
you know, only do that floor routine, you wouldn't care. Like you would be impressed.
Right. Because we know, wow,
But
they're
that's
doing
why most of the Olympics is
world
covering
talent.
their behind-the-scenes stuff. Like here's her life and here's her drama.
Here's her
now
struggle.
we got to know
Yep.
her, and now we watch the floor routine, and it's emotional.
Yep.
Without all that other personal stuff, it's just like, that's like amazing. She must have practiced a lot. Okay, now I'm done with that. Like I'm bored.
Do you think there's an easy science to creating emotion with the audience, or do you think it's a lot of pieces? Well, the music plays an emotion. This thing, prop I'm
Lot of
using plays an
pieces.
emotion. Why is that so
You just said
difficult?
it. Lots of pieces.
Why not is it easy? Come on. Why is this
Well,
performing
each performer
lifestyle
could
have to
distill
work?
it down though to only a couple pieces. It's very powerful.
Okay.
I mean, there are a lot of
Which
optional
kind of goes to
pieces
the
that you
point
can
we were talking
choose
about.
from.
We were talking about, hey, let's do less props, which kind of
Rules.
helps that, yeah.
Yeah, rules and narrowing, making your show as much about what you don't do as it is about what you do.
Right. Did you say doo-doo?
I did.
Cool.
Was that offensive?
No.
Oh.
Oh, hey, he said
Oh
dude.
shit! I said doo-doo.
You said
Fuck
shit.
it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on.
Okay.
Beyond the performing, which we thank you very much, we've definitely learned a lot. What is performing giving back to you in your life?
I think at this point, a mission. It's a mission, like it's a life mission and a reason. So if things are going bad in my life or whatever, I can, or if I feel bad about certain things that I do, like in my life, that I can always sort of hang on to, like at least like I've got this mission. Like I was saying, when you perform to make it a job instead of it being about me, it's like this is my service to my community.
Wow, that's great. You know, Paul Ponce was saying something like that too. He's a very religious person. He says it was more of a mission to kind of give back to churches that he liked and perform for them. It's a mission for you to serve towards giving something of your art form to the audience itself, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just an attitude. I mean,
You're honed down
one
that
could have
act.
that at the beginning. I mean,
Yeah, I wish I
you know,
had that 10
for
years
me
ago.
At the beginning, it's that sort of ego, like
Easier
I'm
said.
doing this to get people to like me thing.
Right.
But, you know, so it took a while to.
That was hard to get rid of too. I went to Celebration Bar on the first day with ego, and then within the third day I had to get rid of it. It was the worst.
Barn and ego.
Yeah. The first day I was like,
Bad.
I told Davison, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't take a workshop. He's like, why? I was like, I can't fit five clubs in my act. I can't do any of this stuff. I've spent 15 years working on all these amazing tricks. You should see my videos. Look at all this stuff. I got 5 clubs, this. He's like, great. Well, I mean, you can still do it, but you know, you have a process, but hey, it's your choice. I said, and then Bill Berry's like, we were having the cabinet that night. I'm like, I don't know what to do. He's like, hey man, just stick with it, you know? The exercise I did the next day was like, hey Lucian, why don't you clean apple? I was like, are you kidding me? Out of all the things in juggle, why would I juggle and clean an apple? Are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Well, I mean, I thought do a cleaning bit, but I thought of an apple. And then he's like, okay, clean, you know, do something with this apple. Clean. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna juggle the apple. I was like, oh yeah, juggle the apple. I'm like, great. Out of all jugglers, I'm gonna go back to the worst thing I should ever do: juggle and eat an apple. But I did it in an interesting way. I did it in a crazy way, a clean way, and at the end it was insane.
Yeah.
So I said, oh,
Right.
wow, this works. And then he's like, see, you did something a little bit more creative than most people do it. Next day, okay, let's go with this.
And the little
third,
jewel
fourth
is
day.
not the apple
Yeah.
or the juggling; it's the idea.
Yeah, he was
that
learning
it's
how to
the
come up with the
type of
right
idea that you came up with, which then you could apply to other things.
It was funny. It was cool.
Isn't that it?
Yeah, it was great. It was a
You
great
get
breakthrough.
an insight into like, oh, like you create work this way, not
Yeah.
this way.
I've had people come up to me and ask me, hey, Lucian, I'm working on this act. Can you give me some ideas or themes? I'm like, wow,
Oh,
that's a
cool.
big compliment.
Bam.
It's like, I mean, of
You
course,
made
I
it.
would go to you. I would look at, hey, what do you think of this? Okay, I like the story. That could be this. But wow, it feels good because they're thinking the way I thought process was now. My thought process is different. And man, it's only been a couple weeks, 3 weeks. It's amazing. Now I'm like, man, I wish I learned this 10 years ago. Because by the end of the 2 weeks, I realized, hey, I can do now the 5 club back crosses. Hey, I can do the 7 balls. So all the tricks came back to me again. It's
Yeah.
like they left for vacation and came back. And I said, hey guys, I'm back. And they're like, cool.
All fresh.
Now you can all come.
Yeah.
Now you can come back in my act. And I was like, great,
Yeah.
because now I have a problem, and you guys are gonna be the solution because you're the trick. And then this is gonna be so this works to that. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like a clever little
Now
bit.
you got a
And it's like
purpose.
great. Now I have a
Now
purpose.
the tricks have a mission.
So the 5 club
Yay.
is so happy. He was like, hey, I can be the act. He's like, yeah, because here's your reason
Yeah.
to be the act. And the 7 balls was like, what's your reason? Oh, I'm this. Okay, now you can be the act.
Little balls.
Yeah, I talked to him too. Yeah, that's a great bit. That's a great bit. Yeah.
Just be balls in a suitcase, but now we've got a mission.
So in a way, it was just my ego saying, "Oh, I can't do this because I can't put tricks in there." That was the ego talking, Put it away. You know what? Don't even put it away. Kick it out. Kick it out of the house.
Yeah.
Ego, don't come back. You know what I mean? It's like 8-year-old kid. I'm sorry. But you know what? It's your life. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
This
go get a
is a
job.
learning experience. Come see me in 20 years. Then maybe we could have dinner a couple times.
Yeah.
And then you can tell me about how it's going with your wife and your
Come to
kids.
an agreement and we can work it out. But
Hey,
I need some space.
give me some Christmas cards.
I just need
Send
a
me
little
some
space
Christmas
right now.
cards, and I'll see you at Christmas from time to time,
Yeah.
and maybe Thanksgiving.
It's not personal.
Ego, I'll see you later. Nothing personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
I'll call you when I'm ready.
Oh man, you'll call him. No, you told him that. Oh wow.
Yeah,
No, don't call me.
Don't give me your number,
Don't
though.
call me. I'll call you.
Block him on your phone.
Dude, really?
For a year.
Let's
Now
go.
that the ego's
So,
gone.
Yeah, let's get the ego. Let's get the ego out of here. So what I'm trying to say is, it's important to actually focus on being there, relatable to the audience, and you do it in a lot of different ways. So let's go back to your act, though. A lot of the ideas you came up with, is there like a thought process you start with, like writing things on paper and then go from there, or do you like to videotape things and then go back and say, oh, I moved here, I
That's a
moved
good
there?
question. I don't really have a system, and so everything in the show has taken years to sort of come together sort of willy-nilly. So what happens with me, for example, with the garbage bags, is like 20 years ago I had an idea of doing something with garbage bags that were inflated. And it was a really complicated idea with like helium balloons inside the bags, like opaque, like black bags.
Yeah.
And something like a whole totally different type of presentation that didn't quite come together. It's just like, what am I gonna do? Like have to haul a helium tank everywhere I go? And
Yeah.
then if I go to high altitude, it's like different. Like I'd have to like spend, you know, and then if too many hours go by, like they're not buoyant anymore. Like,
Right.
So that was like the germ of it. And then, you know, like a decade later, like like for me, the way it is like I come up with and experiment with and then throw out a lot of ideas, but then years later there'll be some other idea that I
Wow.
also did
Do you
that
write
with,
these down though?
and then those two will stick together. No, they're just in my head mostly.
Okay.
I write some things down,
Wow. That's impressive.
but so it's usually a years-long process where different thrown out ideas then find like companion ideas that make them into something usable.
Ah, I like
This
that.
is not, it's just like realizing like things don't really, there's no such thing as creativity. Like everything is just rearranging things that are there. Everything, like even people are like,
So the answer was always
we
there.
came from our parents, and then everything that we have is like DNA or something that we learned in our environment. Like nothing is created.
So it's always been there, you just haven't seen it.
It's rearranging, yeah. So then,
Cool.
like for a juggler or something, you know, it's like you either just do a trick that like most jugglers just do tricks that they've already seen.
Right.
and
Sometimes there's some cool tricks.
Or you try to get inspiration
hard.
from outside of that, like not in the juggling world, and then if you can use that in juggling, then it looks different.
Yep. Yep.
Because you didn't get it from a juggler.
I like that.
And then you can take that to whatever extreme where like it's not even juggling anymore. But there's nothing created out of a vacuum, which is why it's hard to like sit with a piece of paper. But I do that sometimes. So that is one way to sit alone in a room with a piece of paper and just try to think of something that's very limited. But you can't only do that. Mostly you have to like keep your eyes open and look at things, and then you get ideas, and then you combine those different ideas into something new.
Wow. That's perfect.
And it can take years, like for an idea to come together.
Well, how about this? Let me tell you about my experience in the attic. I basically got the suitcase, I got a bunch of balls, I kept it there, I looked at it for like 15 minutes, doing nothing. And then I just started messing around the suitcase, picking it up, throwing it around, throwing the balls around, and after a while I got an idea. And then I got another idea, and I threw those around and tried this idea, tried this idea, tried this idea. So you feel like sometimes it's best to just lock you in a room with the props and just try to do as many different things with
Yeah.
them, and then you'll create more and more and more and more ideas. Would that help you? You think that's good?
Yes, more. That's the key word is more. That's probably
When
the,
you stop,
the
though.
most important point. No, I mean when you need to go to sleep. That's
Right.
that's the only end. There is no such thing as too many ideas, because even
Whoa,
the
whoa.
ones that you throw away are going to come back later and maybe have a companion piece.
Oh, okay.
Which is what happened to me.
But it was changing my piece that I was already working on. I was like, so do you know Amon? She's like a clown. She's
Yeah.
So I went, Amon, I got too many ideas. She was at Avon. I got too many ideas. I don't know what to do. It's right now, the act is changing. I got to stop this. My mind is getting all these ideas because I was trying this other idea. She said, stop. Write them down. Write them down. Write them down. Now, close the book. Stay on this path. I was like, I got to stay on this path, so I'm driving the path. She's like, don't go off the road. Don't go off the road. Use that for later, but stay on this path.
Yeah, use that for later is the key.
Ah.
There's no such thing as too many ideas because you want quantity, not
See?
quality.
I could have went down the wrong path And then eventually I was being confused because I'm like, wait a minute, I got this idea for this, but why does Pac-Man work for this, for this, for this? Wait a minute, don't go there, don't go there, because now you're going to go somewhere totally different.
That's the great thing. That's like
that's the trouble.
Because sometimes you can like come up with then two totally different pieces that way.
But I got frustrated. I was frustrated because I was like, no, this was my first initial idea, and it was great. Why am I going down this road? And then I started thinking more ideas that were better for this idea. I'm like, no, stop. Let's just stick here. Then I'm thinking, well, no, how will we put these ideas into this show? No, these are such good ideas. Let's put them in this show. And I realized, no, they're not supposed to be there.
It's great. Like compartmentalize them over there. Like don't lose them.
Okay, cool.
Whether you write them down or they're in your head or whatever. Like they're over here. I'm not going to use those right now.
You know what's funny? I thought the advertiser said, no, I want to have the 6-minute act. I want that special 6-minute act. And he said, great. You're going to have a 6-minute act. You can do it every day for the rest of your life. Okay, have fun. And I was like, what do you mean? Okay, no, that's all. And I kind of realized he just kind of walked away. And I was like, I realized, I know what he said. You're going to come up with so many ideas. You're going to come up with ideas for bits of another act. No wonder he has a 90-minute act, do by stuff. That's how it works. That's how you have your act that works. You know, it's like, it works because you're going to have a 6-minute. Okay, great. You'll have a good 6-minute act, but you'll realize that you'll have another 6-minute act you can do. So that can all be one big show eventually how it comes. But it's your life work. It's your life process.
Yeah.
Because you're an artist. And I've seen your life's work yesterday, and it was amazing. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a life's work process. If you just say, hey, I'm just going to pick this 6-minute act and then just forget about the rest of the ideas and do this, it's like saying, okay, have fun with that, but you're missing out on all this other opportunities. Right. And now I get it.
And that's the classic juggler act.
But it's okay.
8 years of my career, I created my 7-minute act, and I did that for the rest of my life.
But as you as a juggler, you wanted to kind of evolve too, right? And kind of evolve from, I was here, but now I want to go here in this direction, in this direction.
My temperament is more to jump around and try different things all the time.
Me too sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you have a little bit of OCD? Because I have a little bit of OCD, but I feel like it's good because I'm really detailed. Like I literally, when you pull out the pocket and the music went, I went, whoa! And everyone around me was like, did you see that? Like I was like, whoa, did you see that? But they didn't know what I saw compared to what they saw. They just saw you open up the pocket and put out the thing. I heard, ooh, music. Oh, that's perfect. It reminded me of Rob Torres doing the box. You know what I mean? That worked. You know what I mean? And he does like applause and closes it. I was like, oh, and it gets louder and louder. It's the same idea.
Yeah, audience applause.
It's a great, the audience applause, and then he takes it and puts it in a little box.
Like a sound
and
in a container.
Yeah, he listens to it. It's the same idea. It's a great idea. But it's also the same idea as in like, this was different. Why was this different? Because he created a change in emotion. I don't know. Okay, this is getting deep. The sound was inside of his heart, and he opened up the pocket. The letter had the music in it. It was the letter that created the music. Exactly. So when he opened it up, he opened the letter. That was the music he heard. He was looking at the music that was inside him, and that was inside the pocket. Wow. The paper was the music. I'm so happy that
Here's a dude that was in the audience that like
I love nobody. I'm literally nobody, but it works.
That's so cool. Yay.
That's crazy. Okay, so maybe they thought, okay, it's just
different
music.
people think different things, so you got.
But maybe they did think all the same thing. They reacted differently.
Well, hopefully
not everyone reacts like I did.
In the range. I mean, it's nice when the performer intends something and then.
But I interpreted like.
Get it.
Is it weird to say
it's
that
nice
I interpreted that?
Interpret it differently.
Yeah, but is it weird to say that I interpreted? Whoa, the sound. Like if you want to get deep, you're like, okay, you can look at aesthetics, or like you technical, you can say, oh, he opened up the pocket, the music got bigger. You know, so I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, I've thought about that. I even thought about maybe suitcase or what, any ideas. Opening up something, the music hits. It's a great idea for anything, right? Because it's a visual with the sound. How I saw it, you could see it as, oh, opened up and the music got bigger. So it was the pocket that allowed the music to get bigger. No, to me was the paper was singing the song. That's how deep it was. It was I know you laugh. But the paper was the music, and that when you open the pocket, he was always singing that loud, at that volume at 11, you know, like Spinal Tap. It was at 11, not 10, but 11. Yeah. But you can't hear it because the pocket's closed. When you open it up, he was still singing at 11, and now you hear him at 11. You know what I mean? You hear him loud and clear.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Was that really your first thought, or were you just thinking like, let's just a voice?
No,
I'm just curious.
The thought is actually that objects, especially objects that people actually handle.
So that object had emotion.
Not as much like juggling props, but like ordinary objects, like a letter. Mm-hmm. Like I think about like if you got like fine china in your family, like if
It speaks to you.
Remember when you were a kid and
Yeah.
like you went over to your grandmother's house and she had
Oh
like
man,
these teacups?
such an emotional connection. Oh, that's grandma's
So what
teacups.
about like 40 years later, like she's gone and you find that teacup in a box?
Wow, grandma's teacups. I have all these
So
reflections
when you
of
look
back
at that,
day
then
when
you
I was
smell
a kid.
that day
Yeah.
the gingerbread and you hear your grandmother's voice.
And the music comes
so
in.
that cup and the music,
Oh,
whatever
man.
what that room looked like, how you like felt when you were that age
So
with that
good.
cup the first time. So
You are amazing.
Objects like store
It's
up.
a master.
They like
master
soak up
this.
and then they play it back for you later.
Gosh, it's
So
a
that's what the
mastermind
letter
thing. It's
is.
a
It's
great
like, I got this like letter from my girl. And so
Wow.
when I open that,
thought of everything.
like I hear her voice and I smell her perfume and
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm with her because that like this letter
Mhm.
is like the messenger.
Wow. How hard is it to come up with an act like that? You know, like think of all these crazy ideas. It's got to be tough. It's got to be like a life's
It takes
work.
a long time.
Yeah.
Step one is like think of as many ideas as you can and don't edit them. Write them down.
Okay.
You know, don't say that's stupid and just avoid it. Like try it
All right.
and then dump it because later it's going to come back.
Yeah.
And then step two, like when you have like a deadline, like I've got to do a show like next week, and so I can't just like play around with a million different ideas. Step two is like then you pick out the best ones for that piece.
Right.
Of the 100 ideas that you just thought of, most of which you think are totally lame.
Yep. Love
Those
it. Video.
100, there are 3 that are good.
This video I'm never going to put on YouTube anymore because you're saying so many great ideas. Sorry guys, this is all for myself.
Thank you for joining us, but goodbye.
This is so many
Enjoy
good.
your
These are the
pretzels.
secrets of performing right now. Like I don't even feel like I want to
This is
share
only
it with the world.
available as a special offer, $200
Yeah.
for
Yeah, $200. You know what?
first DVD.
Let me think about it again. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody can have it. This
Okay,
is
never
sharing
mind.
with the world.
That was a little. Okay,
That was a joke.
We're back.
Now we're back.
Thank you.
and
That
cut.
was a
Now
little
we're back.
commercial break.
Yeah, it was a commercial break.
What were we saying?
Oh, man, this is so good stuff. I
man,
don't know if I want to let this secrets out of the bag, but you got to. This is how life is being. It's up to them to do the work.
Anybody.
It's
can
up to
be
them
a
to do the work.
performing artist.
That's the secret. The secret is work hard because that's what it's up to them. But we're saying magic right now, as in
Not. Secret is schedule the time to go in and do some work. If you don't
Yep.
schedule that time, it doesn't happen.
yeah, that's why you're the organizer.
Yeah,
If
I'm
it
the
wasn't
organizer.
if it wasn't for you, Air Jazz wouldn't get things done, and
Yeah.
you got it done for them.
Yeah, I was,
You got it done. Like,
Like-
they literally, like, listen. What if you went to rehearsal and you
Those are
didn't,
great
and you
ideas,
didn't
but
show up
we gotta
first?
get 'em done,
Wait,
man.
what if you went to rehearsal and you didn't show up first? Like, everyone came and they're like, "Whoa, wait a minute, hold on.
People-
Peter's not here. Hold on, wait,
People would've
we
been
need to
hurt,
leave.
man.
We need to leave."
they would hurt themselves.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it would have been like, we need to go because things are not organized. I feel like
Yeah.
Peter's not here. Really, okay, we should just, I think he doesn't want rehearsal today. And then you come in like 5 minutes later, hey guys, I'm sorry I'm late. I got this happened. But they're like, whoa, now that you're here, we can get the job done. You know,
Yeah.
because you're organized.
We need like a container for those ideas. Like
Yeah.
otherwise they just could drift away.
You're that container.
Every project needs a container, whether it's me or.
That's
my
so
group
smart.
or- If you're
Yeah.
a soloist, you need.
But
a
you were
container.
creative too. You created some great ideas. Wasn't that also a mutual thing, a brainstorming?
Yeah, I mean, everybody
you guys would
did,
go at it?
more or less. I was just like generalizing.
I mean, you needed the one
our
guy
general roles.
to
We
say
all-
something, and then
we
the
all-
other guys would go off of that. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Then how about this? How about that? How about that? That's
Yeah.
how it works.
We all crept into everybody else's role. I mean, everybody.
You all
contributed.
crapped or crept?
Crept.
Oh, crept. Okay.
Yeah, we all had crabs. No, I mean.
All right, let's just move it on. Yeah, you guys all crept into each
Thank
other's
you.
role.
Now
Okay.
get into the personal part. No.
Let's go back to compound.
Let's go back to the
Relatability.
crabs. Oh, to what?
Relatable.
No, let's go back to the quantity thing.
Oh, quantity. Yes. Less is
it.
more.
No, more is better.
More is better. You're
Step
right.
one, the more ideas you have, the more
Oh, yes, yes,
possibility
yes,
that
yes, yes.
two or three
Yes,
of them will
for
be
creation,
brilliant.
yes.
And then you put
Absolutely.
those other ones to the side. You don't forget them, but you
Yep.
put them out there into your matrix. You let them be out in the matrix. And then you can pull those like years later. You go
Cool.
like, hey, I want to do something with garbage bags, but I don't know exactly what. Oh, there's that idea from 2 years ago that didn't go anywhere. Now
Nice.
it's going somewhere.
I can't believe you keep that all in your head. Do you have like a library in your head, like Harry Potter style?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I have to write things down.
I think it's like, I call it the creative cyclone, where you have like this tornado. It's like your head is like this toilet bowl, it's like a whirlpool or a tornado
Okay.
going like this.
Yeah.
And if you're in Australia, it goes that way, but like it's going
Whoa,
this way.
when you're in Australia, it goes the other
You
way?
go south of the equator.
Does
yeah.
it get you dizzy?
Nah, because you're getting dizzy, and then when you go south and it goes the other way, then you get undizzy. So you want to
Yeah.
constantly try to
Yeah.
across the equator.
By the
You
way, I
can't,
tested
but-
that in Argentina. I think we were South Aquarium, right? That
Yeah,
makes
so you
sense.
go the other way?
And I go the other way. Yeah, I went
Okay.
the other way.
So that's what I'm saying.
And in Japan, it was the other way.
That's the secret to performing. Once you know that.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a really good one. So Kwani, we got
I didn't
that.
even get to the point yet.
Go for it. Go for it. Well, that was still good.
But that was cool.
It made a lot of sense how
Yeah.
you keep things in your
So
mind.
when you get these ideas,
everything else.
throw them in there, and they're going like this.
Okay.
And then when you get one idea of like
It sparks that last memory.
like,
Okay.
Yeah, you get
Cool.
one idea of like, I did a workshop where I was teaching people to like, the exercise was like have a piece of paper, pretend it's a letter, and seeing like workshop people do it. I was like, okay, I'd like to do that too. So then like, but what am I going to do with that? Well, here's like a different idea about like a voice comes from it. So there's like in the cyclone is like, what about the idea of like a voice that gets louder or softer, like we're
Yeah.
saying, like that's kind of out there.
Yeah.
Like maybe I saw, like in your case, like, okay, I saw Rob Torres do a thing like where it gets quiet when the container closes.
Yeah.
The sound volume corresponds to whether how open the container is, whatever
Right.
the container is. That's one idea floating. Doesn't have a companion idea, so I can't use it. So it's just going to float around in there. Okay, I want to do a thing with a letter. I don't know what to do with that. That's also in there. And then like, now I've got a show where that type of piece would fit in. Like, oh, there's like the letter idea and the sound idea. I'll take those out of the cyclone and put them
Wow.
together, and then there's the piece. But only because they were up there before.
Genius.
Not because I sat down and was like, I got to write a piece. Like, they were already up. The ingredients were already up there and floating
Okay.
around.
So it's going to take time to create a great act.
You got to fill up that. You got to fill up that cyclone with ideas before you start creating stuff.
Mm.
So that's why you want to look and like write the ideas, like
Yeah.
Iman said. Like,
Man,
the more the
that's
merrier,
awesome.
and then you got more material to pull from when you need it.
I like that. That was just one bit. You can do more bits. That's what matters.
Yeah. Well, you know how people are like, you know, the chainsaw guy or the guy that eats the apple. So you're like the Pac-Man man.
No, just that bit.
That's not
it.
going to be known,
No.
like internationally.
What?
Have you seen the Pac-Man man?
No,
That
no,
guy?
no.
He's a Pac-Man.
I'm not
man.
being typecast.
He's famous,
No.
and then people will be copying it. There'll be like a guy in Germany doing the Pac-Man man.
Sure, they can if they want.
You know, and then you'll try to sue them, but it'll be like an
It won't work.
international thing, and
Yeah. Okay. Let
the
them
original
try.
is always the best.
Thanks.
So don't worry about it.
Thanks. At least somebody saw it. You know what? I'm just having fun, right? Living
Yeah.
life. That's what we do.
Yeah.
It'll be another great idea.
It's
There's
just a
another-
mission,
I just
that's
got
all.
another
It's no
idea
big
today
deal.
about it. It's the person. It's the artist. That's what's great about you. You don't need to have, oh, I have to have that act, the way that bit is. No. Your mindset will allow the bits to come in. That's what's great about this
Yeah.
process. The
But
way you're
there's-
talking and thinking is the right way to be. That's why when I have artists and performers, I don't care if people
Can you zoom
copy.
into the stain on my?
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what that
I
is.
think it's
like
blood. You gotta get that checked. I think it's fine though. Don't worry about it. I'm not
bleeding-
zooming in towards
I'm
that
bleeding
area.
and it's like, don't zoom in on
Yeah,
that.
okay.
It's probably like.
Let's
I
go
think
back.
It's like chocolate, actually.
Let's go back. We don't care about what people copy because they can't copy Peter Davison. They can't copy Lucian Fuller.
They can't
and they
copy
can't
the
copy your
person.
process and the person you are. So
Yeah.
don't be all. But when I was younger, I was always like, worried, like, oh man, I want to show my act to this. They're gonna copy this. What are they gonna do? Tricks? They can copy tricks. You know, colors of props. That's fine. Doesn't matter. It's the act, the story, the way I move. Okay, fine. Then that's different. You know what I mean? It's about who you are and being
Yeah.
who you are, and that's everyone's an individual. So yeah, it's just a weird thing to think about. If you did, you know, that's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah, that's true. It's about the person. There's this book called Showmanship for Magicians.
I read
It's like
that.
a classic. Have you read it?
I think I read that,
There's
yeah.
a statement in it that says like, this rule is just simply that people care about people more than any other single thing.
Yeah.
So that's the audience cares about the person more than any trick.
Perfect. No matter if he
you
shows
know,
them 7 clubs and all this
costume,
stuff.
7 clubs, whatever the magic trick is.
So if he
matters
drops-
who's the person. That's what they care about foremost.
So if he drops, they're okay with it. But to him, he's not okay with it. So he has to pick it up, frustrated.
Yeah.
Da, da,
If
da. And
he's
they're like,
not
oh,
okay
why are
with
you
it,
frustrated? Come on, you were in front of
That's
the
the
lights.
wrong motive. Then again, it's like I screwed up, and you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like I'm here with these people, and who knows what's going to happen.
Right. One last thing.
And now the grand finale. I mean finale.
I mean, seriously. Hey, I really do enjoy talking to you. But come
Yeah,
on, man.
that's
I mean,
great.
this is
It's like 3 in the
this is the
morning.
longest interview we've had so
Okay.
far. Most people are like doing 5 minutes. You're on like almost 2 hours.
Okay. This is the
But
last.
this has been great, and I bet people are thanking you for this, and thank you very much for sharing this as well. What do you want to talk about? What do you want your finale to be? Pick it. You can pick whatever.
Oh man.
Pick a good one though.
I don't know.
Seriously,
I had
end on a strong
like a
note.
minute ago, and then it sort of evaporated.
Okay.
We talked about something else.
One more, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna
it's
be
not
open
the
with
blind
it.
spot on
Instead
my
of just
pants.
saying a question, I'm gonna say, any last thing you want to talk about with performing?
Yeah, as my partner John Held said, like, you get the first, and this has to also do with trying to like impress the audience when you come out and worrying about whether they like you.
Yeah.
Is like, in a way, you get the first 5 minutes for free. Because the first 5 minutes is when the audience is figuring out
Who you are.
Well, it could be shorter than that or longer, like as
Yeah.
a general idea.
I'm thinking like the first 5 seconds.
Could be the first 5 seconds. It depends on what you're doing, or the first minute, or the
They're
first
like,
5 minutes.
I don't know if I like this guy. You
If
know?
it's like a long theater, if you're doing like a whole show,
Right.
it would be the first 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Before the audience figures
Right.
out what the game
But if
is.
it's a 5-minute act, they're saying the first 5 seconds.
Then it's first 5 seconds.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you have it. You got
however,
5 seconds.
It's proportional to the length of the whole show.
You have
obviously.
5 seconds to make sure you get those audience on your side.
Yeah.
Or they're within after that 5 seconds and they're not on your side, and you like you go on stage, you don't even look at them. They're like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, you have a period of time at the beginning to like calm down. I mean, even if you're starting fast, it's like.
Oh, so you have a little bit of
go
a
into
safe zone? You think you have a little bit?
The audience is there to like you.
They want to
They
naturally
don't come
like
in
you.
going like,
Boo.
I think he's gonna suck. Let's see if he can prove me wrong. Yeah, I actually paid money to come and see a guy that I'm pretty sure is gonna suck. Like, I don't think that happens. So you already have.
Could you
an
imagine
advantage.
that? Wait, let's just imagine. You're walking on stage. Boo! Get off the stage! You suck! Get off the stage! Hey, you in the white shirt. Put down those balls. Come on, man. Get off the stage. How would you feel?
There's leeway. I'd say fuck you and leave the stage.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. That's a natural thing. So the way he'd be like, then he starts clapping. He goes, clap, clap, clap. That was awesome, man. Great job. Oh, really? That's a weird crowd.
Yeah. You
That's
guys are sick. What are you clapping about? Just sit,
You guys are
put your
sick.
hands down.
Put your hands down.
Sickos.
Yeah, go screw yourself. Oh,
Got places.
oh, thank you.
I saw a show.
So
This
funny.
Belgium dance company.
Yeah.
Les Ballets de la Baie.
Okay, say that 10 times fast. Jeez.
Les Ballets de la Baie.
Okay, great. Beautiful.
But here's how they started the show. They had a 1,000 people seat, like a theater full.
Yeah.
Big stage.
Mhm.
Curtain is already open. So the house lights go out.
Yeah.
Stage lights come up.
Right.
And nothing happens.
Yeah.
And so their first 5 minutes, nothing happened. And so the audience, we all in the audience went through a little period of is
What's
the
going
cue,
on?
Did the cue did they miss a cue? Did the music supposed to start?
Yeah.
And then no, it's been long enough that they probably meant to do that. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So and then after another minute, wait, maybe this isn't right.
Right.
And then a minute later, no, it's been so long that this has got to be what they want. And then finally, a dude in the audience stands up and starts to walk out.
This is great.
So there's a dude in the audience, stands up, goes down the aisle, is heading for the door. And then instead of going the door, he goes up the stairs onto the stage, a guy just in street clothes. So this is 5 minutes, 6 minutes into the show.
That was our intro?
One guy from the audience who we thought was walking out
Oh.
didn't walk out and
Okay.
walked onto the stage.
Okay.
And started taking his
Little
clothes
left
off.
turn. Oh, whoa. What kind of show was this?
Well, it didn't quite go that. They all ended up, it's a pretty big company, 8 dancers or something.
Okay.
Just down to their underwear. So
Okay.
they didn't get totally naked, but there's just a guy in the audience got
Okay,
up on stage
I
and
kinda
started
get this,
taking
where
his
this is
clothes
going.
off.
Nice.
And then now it's now this is interesting. We just went through 8 different thought processes in that 5 minutes when nothing was happening.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted you to have.
And then a guy
Perfect.
looked like he was walking out because it was this is
Yeah.
a lame show.
Yeah.
And then he's
And,
ended up
he,
on
and not just that, he's one of you guys because you're the audience. So that's
He's
whoa,
just like a dude
he's
in,
one of us.
Levi's
Why is one of us going on stage? Because that's one of them. We don't talk to those kind of
Yeah.
people. They're on stage. They're performers.
Ah,
Oh, he
now-
became a performer.
Now we see what the game was.
This is crazy.
That was the game.
Nice.
And then the big blank spot after the fact paid off.
Right.
At the moment we're wondering, but if it has a payoff at the afterwards,
Yeah.
that's okay to build that suspense. All the dancers came up every 2 minutes.
Okay.
Somebody else came out of the audience and took their clothes off, and then they did
Wow.
an hour and a half show. So that's one extreme of the
That's
first
great.
5 minutes. There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And if it's set up if it's the right format of we're going to see an avant-garde dance company,
Yeah.
then
Where
the
is
audience
this
ready for
at?
it. if you try to do that in a casino,
sounds
then people
amazing.
will walk out.
I want to see
after
the
1
show.
minute.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that was in Rotterdam. I saw them, but they're a Belgium company. But I don't know if they're still doing. They do a
Right.
different show every year,
Cool.
probably.
Oh, you know, there's one performer that is admired. I admired him for many years, and I still do. Dan Holtzman, man. Every time he comes on stage, I can't stop laughing. Like
Yeah.
he just has that vibe, that cool vibe. He comes on stage, and
It's
it's
the
just
person.
like, yes, there's Dan. And I say to myself when he walks on, yes. And like, oh, what kind of crazy toy is he gonna like go ahead and throw out,
Yeah.
do? And I'm already happy to see him. And when he comes on, the way his voice is, I like that likability.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to do it with the first 5 seconds. If you're doing a 5 or he's only doing like a 3-minute bit.
I'm not advocating
you have to
waiting
do that.
5 minutes.
Right.
One extreme.
Yeah. So there you go. You got to have that likable. You got to be Dan Holtzman. You got to have that personality that's fun and enjoyable. Within the first 5 seconds, they like it, man. Boom. You go.
Yeah,
out and do it.
Dan,
He's
passing
hilarious.
zone is that way.
Yeah.
So when certain people come out, like
love
talking
it.
people, they come out and you just go like, I know it's going to be good. I always have the passing zone. Like
Yes.
they come through the curtain and they just stand there before, and of course their speaking is great. I've seen them for years. Like
So what
every
are the-
time I see them, when they walk out, like the first time I saw them, when they walk out, I know I can relax. It's going to be good.
Okay, but what are they doing backstage? Are they waiting like to go
Like
out
tonight? Well, they're always relaxed. They're very professional. So at a certain point, certain like 20 minutes before they're going to go on stage, they get their microphones ready. And then like 10 minutes before they're going to go on stage, they make sure that they're like backstage ready to go in case something went faster. But they're very relaxed, and they might have like a question so could tell the sound guy, like tonight it was tell the sound guy over the headset that we're going to turn on our bell packs before we come on, so have them make them live now.
Yep.
So the board, he brings up the volume on the
Yep,
board because
yep.
he knows that these guys are going to turn them on themselves right before they go. So the sound man doesn't have to turn them on when he sees them, and then it's too late. Like sometimes they
Yep.
talk.
And they
then
talk.
it's
They
not
can't hear
up.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he
Perfect.
goes, oh, they're on. So
Great tip right there.
so that was like 3
Awesome
minutes
tip.
before they went on, and then they
Awesome.
go on, and
Yeah.
it's like,
They're awesome. Jonathan, Owen, they got it. Yeah.
and then when
True
they go
professionals.
on, it's
Doing it
like
right.
they radiate this like ease, and the whole audience
Yes.
just goes like,
Yeah.
they're like the
Yep.
talking version of Avner. Like their job is to relax the audience, and then they take it from there.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I had a great time seeing you perform. Thank you very much for sharing all these
My
amazing
pleasure.
stories with me.
You
You
had
rock.
Great questions too.
You're welcome.
And
There you
great-
have
and
it.
Great additional information from you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You deserve. I'm happy to tell you more. You're awesome. You've been a great influence to me in my life. Thank you very much for sitting down and sharing this with me,
Right.
and just sharing your stories and
honor.
sharing some tips. And I hope this will help everybody else that's listening to this. Thanks for watching, guys. Peter Davison. Check him out. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye now. Take care.
Awesome. That was
That
really
was a
good.
long one.
Yeah, right. Had fun. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, that
Cool.
was one of my best times this week.
Oh, really? Cool. Thanks, man.